The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Dave and Eric.
Hello. Oh. Hang on.
Dave left.
Well, no, I'm here. Hold it. Okay, the intro was loud. I turned down my speaker because I was like,
"Oh, I'm sorry."
I was afraid we're gonna have a feedback loop.
That would have been annoying.
Well, thank you so much for having us. It's been a little while since I've done a stream, and this is my first stream with Eric. This is Eric Grove, who is a lot of times my co-host, and certainly has been recently because Meredith has been kind of busy with horses. So yeah, Eric is visiting with his family. He just showed up this morning. I went to the airport and picked him up, and we went to a couple of restaurants and basically hung out and played video games, which is, you know, it's like Eric coming to experience what I do with my life, which is nothing. So yeah, and we're kind of doing this one together.
It sounds like my life.
Yeah, you know, look, I fit some things into the nothing. You know, I had to go out and feed the horses. Meredith, she did this horse thing today. Mm-hmm. And apparently a horse needed to do something in order to be able to qualify for something else, and it did do that. So she qualified. She's thrilled. So, good. But it meant that, you know, we were holding down the fort here. So
you got to do what you got to do to help out Meredith.
Yes.
Happy wife, happy life.
People always say that, you know. I think that's true. That's true.
I would agree.
Sometimes I wonder.
I might have a bias, but I would agree.
Sure.
Well, looks like the chat's already filling up, which is pretty cool. Just everybody like and subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to comment in the stuff down there. Even if it's mean, I'll just delete it.
Right. But it's nice to see the comment come up.
Yep. But yeah, so yeah, I got Dave to agree to hang out with me. He brought Eric along, which I'm happy about, and celebrating my birthday. So
yes, yeah, I'm so glad that we were able to do it today. And Eric came today. It's like it was all kind of meant to be. Now, I was picking up Eric. This is entirely my fault. Allison asked me to do this a couple of months ago.
And at 2 in the afternoon.
At 2 in the afternoon, I had all the information. I had everything that I needed. I'm so used to doing streams at night. And actually, the last stream that I did with Allison, we did around 2. I forgot. And I just assumed we were doing it at night. And so we were having lunch today, and I thought I should check and make sure. Well, when I was checking to make sure, we had already missed it. And even honestly,
we were close to missing it.
Okay, and we were, 20 minutes away from home, halfway through lunch at a restaurant. It was just no way. And so Allison, thankfully, was able to squeeze us in tonight. So I'm sorry for any of you guys that have, that waited earlier. I really apologize. Entirely my fault.
It's all good. I think everybody will forgive you. I know I do. It's good by me. But we already got some interesting stuff coming up here. We got Dave and Eric in the same room. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
We're not the same person, as it turns out. Everybody was thinking that. It was good to see Dan Genovese here.
We got Samuel Reyes with Wild.
Samuel Reyes here.
We got the Art of Victor Medina. He was actually doing the show previously. The Throwdown, the Thursday night Throwdown, where a bunch of artists get together and draw stuff.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you for coming. Well, sticking around,
We got, David Finch. We got Dan here with the 2-for-1.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, I can see what Dan's
got a happy birthday. Thank you.
Now because on your screen it's so big.
Yeah, so Eric can see this. You guys can't see this. My screen is as big as like a pretty big TV.
42 inches.
And that's because I don't really like working at my desk. I work on my couch, which is behind us. And in order for me to read what's on my screen, anyway, I got a huge screen. So
I've debated on upping my monitor size. I mean, it's pretty It's pretty big too, so you might.
Well, I just like the idea of this because it's right. I mean, when you live streams putting up or whatever, it's just right there. I need to do the same thing. I don't have anything in front of my desk. I got to look off to the side.
Yes,
it's not ideal. So
it is nice having that right there.
With the way modern technology is lately, getting like a TV set is like just fine.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is a monitor, and I paid a bunch of monitor. Like this costs.
Oh yeah, monitors are technically better, but you can put a TV in and do it.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, a monitor might be better, but I guarantee for my purposes, it probably wouldn't have been. I just didn't know.
Fair. Happy birthday from Nita.
You can either be smart or throw money at the problem, and I usually choose. That's why we're always broke.
We got was it Tagamo?
Tagamo Model Works. Good to see you.
Yeah, and I
can't see what he's saying because the microphone's in front of it.
It's just hello.
Hello, Michael.
Devante with Michael.
Yeah.
Mike is a friend of mine who lives in the area and an up-and-coming comicer himself.
Oh, great. So has he done any streams at all?
He hasn't. I don't think he's streamed any place yet, but he is definitely he's a machine when it comes to putting out books. He's done like 5 or 6 indie books already.
Well, really, that's the important part. Doing a stream is great, but doing the work is really what matters.
Yeah, I mostly draw D&D stuff more than I draw comics, it seems, lately. So
the one time I ever drew something from D&D, I thought nobody's gonna. First of all, nobody will know what this is, and no one will care. And I was so wrong. That was one of my most watched streams. Like going back, it has a lot of views. It was like a highly watched when I was doing it. Not that I keep track. I keep track.
Oh, that was the Drista Warden one?
Yeah, it was Drist.
I think even R.A. Salvatore liked it, I think.
Oh, that's amazing.
Twitter. I think someone sent it to him on Twitter.
Yes, yeah, which was very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I missed it. It's way too easy to get distracted away from projects by fun images here and there. I have it happen all the time.
That can definitely happen.
Yeah.
And
the camera that we're looking at, right? Well, I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at the screen, but it's right in front of the chat for me, unfortunately.
Oh, we got question for you, Dave. How's your independent book? Will I never be as good as you? I hope to be as fast as you someday. Mike, it just takes practice. Art is subjective.
Michael, I feel like you're taking a shot at me. I'm a little slow right now, and thank you, but I think it's unhealthy to feel like drawing comics is a competition. I've done that enough and driven myself crazy, and also not worked on. I've said this so many times, but I've not worked on my own work quality. I've just mentally fought this war with an artist that I hate because they're better than me, and like the amount of energy, it's terrible. At the same time, though, it's competition, and you should never say that you'll never be as good. I think you could be better, and there's nothing stopping you but you and the work that you're willing to put in. Talent's a factor, of course, as with anything, but it's a small factor compared to you find an artist that draws a hand in a particular position really, really well, and you can't do that, and it like burns you up with jealousy. Well, you draw that hand 10 times, you'll be able to do it just as well as they can, and you'll have it forever. So don't let people beat you.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to keep pushing yourself. Yeah. So, and just keep drawing and drawing and drawing. I mean,
and I have a feeling Michael's is much better than he's giving himself credit for here too.
He is.
Yeah.
He definitely is much better than he's giving him credit for.
It's always the artists that talk that way that are the ones we have to look out for. No,
he'll hit it someday. He'll definitely break it through. He's like 2 steps away from like the next major revelation in his artwork.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that moment to be like, there it is. Because I've been like kind of teaching him as he's going. So
those are always the most exciting times, especially, when you're starting out and there are big things you don't understand that you can learn. And then when you get a grasp of it, and there's one thing to understand that something exists as a concept, and it's another thing to really actually understand that concept. And when you do, it's a cathartic, wonderful feeling. And then you do the greatest picture you've ever done, and you're so happy with it. And then you have to draw another picture, and it never turns out as well. And then it's all bad again. So we were going to draw a picture.
Yeah. I think we're going to be doing some drawing. That'd be.
Oh, did I just shouldn't.
But
have
I got a
said it like
compliment, so
that.
I got a compliment. So there we go.
All right. So I still don't have my camera set up properly. With Eric here, actually, he's going to help. Allison actually offered to help too. I think between the three of us, we're going to get my other camera working, and I'm going to be able to have a camera pointed at my desk and at me or us, this weekend at the same time, which I haven't been able to do for the better part of a year. Anyway, it's ridiculous. But also, I just want to mention, Eric and I are going to do a stream on Saturday, and we're going to be painting. We're actually going to work on the same painting. We're going to kind of go back and forth. So that's going to happen on Saturday. That should be fun. We have this whole painting kind of technique that we've been working on together. I was doing like a spray with a pash for a base, and then we put a head on it, and Eric had an idea to use like a white Posca to outline the figure, and so we've been doing pictures kind of in that style. It's kind of something, I feel like it's like a 50-50 thing. I don't know if I'm giving myself too much credit here because Eric was working on a project. You can't talk about it at all, can you?
Not yet.
He's working on a project that he can't talk about. And so he was working on kind of a style for that. And I really liked it. So I've been kind of stealing it too.
Yeah, really.
I see. Can't talk about it. I'm so jealous now. Dave knows and I don't. That's just.
Yes, I do. Yeah. His stuff is looking very, very cool. So I think it might be a few months anyway, right?
Yeah, probably. I think end of September I might be able to say something.
Right. So the process that we've been using in order to paint those things, and really all the painted stuff, like on my Instagram, you can see some paintings. It's basically that process right now. We are going to also have an artist coming up. Can I just say who it is? Do you think it's okay for me to just say who it is?
It's okay, Dave. I give you permission.
Okay, thanks. It's Ryan Brown. Yeah, he is incredible. Not only is he incredible and one of my absolute favorites right now, but he's such a huge up-and-coming artist. I mean, he's been around for a little while, but he's really lately, especially making a huge splash at Marvel and DC doing covers, like beautiful stuff. And I know, I was talking to Ricky Purton over at Marvel. He's the talent coordinator, and I said, "You know who Ryan Brown is?" And he just went on and on and on. I mean, they love him there, and so yeah, it's a big deal to be able to get him to come on, and he's going to show us his process. He's not going to be working quickly. So what we're going to see is like basically a cross section of how he works on something. And I want to see in real time, this is how it's done. Because
I'm not missing that stream.
Well, there are artists, and I just want to say like Simon Bisley and Glenn Fabry and Jim Murray, and the list goes on and on, Greg Staples, and they're all kind of from an English school of art, and this is really where Ryan comes from, and he really understands that whole process. Something that I've been trying to unlock and figure out for years and years and years. We got so much of it from Ariel Olivetti, which I'm forever grateful for. We tried to get Ariel actually for another stream.
Oh, that would be cool.
He was not able to do it. We have to try again at some point. Hopefully he's got time coming up. It'd be great to do another one with him. But in the meantime, we have Ryan Brown, and I'm expecting that our process will change quite a bit after that.
I'm definitely going to try to catch that one. I really want to see his work.
It should be towards the end of this month.
Yeah. And it's all really depending on his schedule too. He's very, very busy. I mean, he's so much in demand right now. I think he has all of the skill of all of my favorite painters, plus a color sense that I think is really superior, and a mood and setting that you don't see with a lot of that. Like a lot of that stuff is much more, and Simon Bisley, who's my favorite, and I love, it's more like abstract, a lot of the backgrounds, and very designed, which I love, but it's a different thing. And I don't do that personally myself. So I'm looking forward to seeing, Ryan's process.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I think I've said that enough. But yeah.
So if you're ready, what I'm going to do, I've got my desk camera pointed at us. I'm just going to adjust it and change a few things. We have a couple lights to fix, and I'll have my desk set up, and we'll be ready to go. So if you want to, Allison, maybe just switch to your camera so I can do this without it like fumbling everywhere. That would be great.
What, this?
No, just go like solo your own screen.
Oh, you don't want people to see you mess up?
Okay, look, if you guys insist, I'll just do it. It's fine.
So don't
Here,
worry.
let me go. I'll just do it. Here we go.
Oh, we're moving. We're moving.
Okay, I'm putting it at my desk. Lift it up.
Actually, I'm gonna play a bump real quick while you're doing this too.
It always takes me a bit to get this thing kind of situated here.
All right. Well, we'll be right back. Okay.
Yes.
We're back.
Yeah, I'm still a little. Oh, you know what? I'm dark also because I have I adjusted my setting. I adjusted so many things. Let me flip that. Hold on.
There we go. It looks right side up now.
And brighten.
Yep, it's brightening.
Push it
Oh,
down.
amazing.
We're just about there. And it always is disorienting to me when the top looks. What do you?
There we go.
There. Okay.
What a mess. It's okay. It's looking good.
Oh, it's loosened. Shoot. Hold on.
I'll drop it back until you're ready.
Why is it so tilted? What?
It's the tension on this cable.
Oh, is that what it? Okay. There. Good. I'm good. Okay. All right. Here we go. Sharpener.
Thanks, Rick. And we got a happy birthday to me. And let's see. It looks like Blair met you at Terrificon, so it was an honor to chat with you a little bit. Appreciate the feedback on his work. Fantastic.
Oh yeah. Well, my pleasure. I saw some really incredible work. Actually, I met an artist who he had a pin too, which I really appreciated, and he showed me a comic he's working on. He's going to do a Kickstarter for coming up. I want to say next month, very soon anyway. And he emailed about it. I haven't emailed. If you're happening to be watching this, I haven't emailed back. I'm the worst with that, but I will, and I would really like to showcase.
I can attest. Dave is horrible with email.
Yeah, it's always an issue.
And no, Rick, Dave has not sung for me yet.
All right, I'm kind of doing this, laying it out here, so
no worries.
You know what? I'm going to end up drawing the same exact pose that you're doing. I need to lay this out because I'm drawing this and I'm realizing I'm just drawing the same thing you already did. All right. I'm going to do a couple layouts. Let's see.
If you copied my pose and all that, Dave, I think I'd be cool with it.
Yeah, but you really would want me to do that? That'd be kind of cheap.
Yeah, there is a sword in the it's like a Zato Ichi blade, if that makes sense to you.
I already don't like this one. But what the heck?
Oh, Rick is asking if I poked you about D&D yet, about playing D&D.
You haven't actually, but...
No, I haven't, but I am now.
Okay. I still would really like to do it. You want to do that?
D&D?
Yeah.
I think Eric should do it with us.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Eric's in. All right.
All right, good. That's really good.
Okay, I'm going to bend the arms a little bit. Otherwise, it ends up... See, what happens is my page is like this. If I straighten the arm, then it comes off the side of the page, and nobody wants that.
Have you ever taken someone's head off?
I don't understand.
Well, she got a sword in the thing, so I was wondering if she could like take someone's head off or something.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we got this one. Let's do more of an action pose then. Let's see.
Actually, while you're laying that out, I'm just gonna. I mean, everybody's here to see you drop it. I will show people really quick what the character is. And this is the character that he's drawing.
Mm. This is why I always do my layouts beforehand, so you guys don't see me struggle. Sometimes
I lay things out beforehand. I get it. Is that a Clement character? Nope, that is an Alikat character.
Here we go. Liking this more.
Her name is Rin. And it's from a... she's one of my fantasy characters. She is a street urchin who kind of like has some like daredevil abilities. She's blind, but she was inspired a bit more by Zatoichi.
And blood. There. What do you think?
Oh, that's great. Either one of those is awesome.
Well, we'll do this one.
Okay.
And now I'm moving my paper over it so I can't see it. I'm going to have to do this from memory. And I'm going to switch over here as much as I can because I need room for my sword on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should fight with my layout more on the stream, you know?
I'm fine with you fighting with your layouts.
It's
sure they don't hurt you too much.
More interesting to see kind of the... Sometimes it can be like a nightmare, and I end up with like 10 different layouts, and I hate every single one of them, and I feel like it's all over, and I might as well deliver pizza.
I've had those days.
Yeah.
I've had those months, years. I did deliver pizza for a while.
Really?
Yeah, when I was a teenager.
Her arm's a little long there.
But seeing how it's done, how you break down the roughs and go from there.
Yeah, well, kind of get the basic things in.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of actually create some shapes. Like she didn't really have a hip shape, so I'm kind of getting that in there. And now that she's got her hips, I can kind of construct her legs properly. I was pretty happy with where they were, but I want to make them a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like a sculpting process where I can just slowly, once I like the general placement, I can start to work on. And
got Dennis saying hi to everybody.
I don't know what her sword looks like.
It's called a Hanwei. Is basically it's a cane sword. So it's a straight. I got an idea. I'll just show you a picture of it.
All right, good. Well, in the meantime, I'll draw this arm. Shoulder's about here. So I don't think her arm should be longer than that. By the way, I'm using an H-LED. I just say that because normally I always use 2H all the time, but it's very humid. It's summer, and 2H was just killing me. Like it's not going on the paper very well, so I switched to H. So this is an H-LED.
Makes sense.
And it really is working like a 2H in the winter. Like I want it to be dark enough that you can see what it is, but then I can run my hand over and it doesn't pick it up and make a mess. So I don't have to worry about, getting my hand in it. All right, so you had reference.
Where the hell did I put that? Okay.
I know you can't see her eyes in the finest. Like she's got a blindfold on, but much better if I can draw the eyes and then cover.
Oh, I draw the eyes in myself and I do stuff like that. It makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
then I just sketch over them. Also, if I draw the eyes in, I can kind of figure out how to do the facial expressions and stuff to try to show facial features.
Yeah, they're just such an important landmark.
All right, let's do this. Okay, so this is what it looks like.
Okay, perfect. There.
Mike says he's moved on to a 4H lead. I smudge a lot with my left hand, so now I wear a glove to reduce smudging. Makes sense.
4H, that is so hard.
Yeah, it's super hard.
And not to say that that's wrong. I mean,
No.
you got to work with what's comfortable.
Yeah.
At that point, once it gets to 4H, I find it's difficult for me to get the pencil down and to see what I've put down. But
yeah, that's my issue too.
It also indents and scratches the paper. So you got to be careful.
It can, yeah. Now it just depends on how you draw. Like I tend to draw very hard, which is a problem. I shouldn't be doing that, but I can't help it. I've been doing this for 30 years, basically. I'm not going to change now. All right.
There, I just put the spelling of the type of sword in there for the sword chain. The sword chain is this is a very specific type of sword. It's a straight blade. It's not like a katana would be.
Yeah.
Some people would say it's more like the ninja toe, which isn't a real sword. The ninja did not fight with the sword like that. They used katana or kodachi or wakizashi. But the ninja toe is that kind of blade would be the more specific one.
I have to admit, my knowledge stops at katana. It's not great. I don't know a lot about it. All right, so there's my. Let's see where I was. That's
looking good. I think you got it.
And then I need to just get this guy in here. So let's do that.
She's knocking someone's head off.
So I have the head here.
And I definitely believe in blood is stored in the body at 2,000 psi because I watch a lot of samurai movies.
I don't watch a lot of Japanese movies or foreign movies as much as I'd like, just because I tend to watch while I work and I can't read subtitles and work. Unfortunately,
I can respect that. I've also been watching the new version a lot of Rurouni Kenshin lately, which was my favorite anime series. So.
You know what I have watched though? I guess it's Asian and it's foreign, but I've been watching some Korean stuff because a lot of that is actually translated really, really well. It's dubbed,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think like a lot of people, I watched what's that show with the guys with the black masks with the shapes?
Squid Game.
Squid Game, which was so good, and then I ended up watching all kinds of stuff.
I want to watch Train to Busan. I think it's incredible.
It is a great movie, and it was subtitled, and I took the time.
Isn't there a sequel?
Which one?
Train to Busan.
Oh, Train to Busan is amazing.
Yeah, I actually what's the Battle Royale? Is that right?
Battle Royale is a Japanese film that is basically a bunch of high school students go and kill each other.
Right, and so I watched that one too, and I basically just sat and watched. Every once in a while I'll do it, but it's just hard. All right.
Yeah, isn't there a sequel to?
There is a sequel to Battle Royale. Don't bother with it. It's not that good. The first one was decent, especially if you watch it more of the satire it's supposed to be. If you watch it with that kind of in mind, because the sequel just kind of really loses it in a lot of ways.
And blood.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know who this is. So what I'm going to do is draw him like a ninja.
It could be anybody, it doesn't matter.
Okay. I'm right.
This guy getting head chopped off. Random fantasy guy getting head chopped off.
Yes, he's of the foot. All right.
Yeah. The Hanwei is as I said, it's not a traditional Japanese blade in that sense. I mean, it's a straight blade where they usually made curves and like a curved blade, slightly curved. It does have a point, but katanas have a point too. So, and that's you do stab with them at times.
So I'm guessing you're more of a fan of Japanese weapons than European.
No, I'm also trained in rapier fighting.
Oh, really? Oh, I see. There you go.
And if I was I've spent more time studying the katana, but if I was given the choice of fighting against a person with a like in a duelist kind of setting using like HEMA rules and things like that, I would take the rapier over the katana, and every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Katana is not set for fighting against a rapier. They work. You need to move in to be able to really fight with it. And rapier fighters are known to move in and out.
So would you consider a lightsaber to be like, what kind of a sword would you equate that to?
A lightsaber? When I spoke with Rick Gillard about it, he had stated that he combined fencing, kenjutsu, and tennis to make the fighting style of the lightsaber, the different fighting styles of lightsaber.
Tennis?
Yep. If you watch in episode 1, there's clearly a backswing that Obi-Wan does in one of the early scenes. The way he flips the sword and chops a droid in half. It's clearly a backswing with it.
I can see that. It would be very dramatic. Like tennis has a lot of really extreme arm movement because you're not defending at all. You're just taking the swing, so you get more of a dramatic kind of.
Was Gillard, whatever his name, he was a choreographer for episode.
Yep.
For Phantom Menace, right?
All of the prequel films.
Okay,
I don't believe he did anything with the sequels. I forget the name of the guy.
That whole fight with Darth Maul is just so iconic now.
Oh, that was incredible. It's done very, very well.
I still can't believe they killed Darth Maul and never brought him back. It still blows me away.
They brought him back.
He's not dead.
What? No?
He's in Solo.
Oh, I didn't watch that one.
And he's also in
it wasn't Rebels.
Clone Wars and Rebels.
What was the animated?
But does that
Clone
count?
Wars,
Would you
he's
say
also in Rebels.
I didn't know that the cartoons counted as canon.
It is canon, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
I just can't remember what the name of the show was.
Okay, I'm so out of my depth right now. Clearly, I don't know.
Yeah, the Skull Reaper has a thing here where Cord recruited a video on lightsabers that'd be more like fencing since it doesn't need force to slash through. Technically, the whole point of having a weapon is they have like a bladed weapon is they do not require much to use to generate injury. That they're neutral because they're sharp and things. I mean, you still have to swing it a bit and do stuff. But yeah, that is very true. You could do much more fencing. And that's where the Makashi style comes from with lightsaber fighting, which is the art that Count Dooku uses, which since Christopher Lee is almost like he was an amazing fencer. Mm-hmm. So when they designed the style, he actually did some of the scenes with it. It wasn't just a stunt double doing all of his work.
He was not young too. He was pretty old, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, and but yeah, he used a fencing style, and if you saw in episode 2, he literally took apart Obi-Wan and Anakin, like Anakin in particular. But yeah, that's what that style is. It was specifically designed to fight other wielders of lightsabers. So yeah, and it uses a fencing style.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, if you want to know something about Star Wars, I probably know it.
I used to watch. You remember you would get DVDs and you get the director's commentary.
Yep.
And so it's like watching YouTube. I just want something to watch, and those could be so interesting. Like back.
Oh yeah,
to watch those all the time.
It's like the Lord of the Rings, the extended edition stuff had all those hours and hours of making stuff. I watched all of them.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for anything like that. Anything that just goes on. We were talking about Eric and I were talking about. There's some real cop. What what do you call it? Cop camera. I don't know. Police activity, which I have not watched. I'm going to now, but I've been watching like court stuff.
Oh, I watched that stuff too.
These poor people go into court and defend themselves, and it's
hilarious.
Very bad taste to be taking humor from somebody obviously not well prepared to defend themselves, but man, it can be funny at times. And I end up sitting there watching that while I'm working. I'm like, oh, I'm a terrible person.
I'm guilty of doing that too.
Yeah.
Usually as I'm drawing, I'll have something like that on. There's a few YouTubers I have on and who are lawyers, and their commentary is hilarious.
We're all bad people here.
Yes, we are. We're all horrible, horrible people. It's my birthday. I'm allowed to be. But yeah, Christopher Lee was definitely a man of many talents. He had a conversation with Peter Jackson about the about when Saruman was killed by Grima Wormtongue, and he was like, "Oh well, you scream out when he stabs you, and in the back like that." And Christopher Lee is like, "No, you don't. A person doesn't scream like that." And he's like, "They make kind of a whoop noise," and he's like, "How would you know that?" And he just smiled.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
You don't want to say something like that because, if you've ever known someone that died, the police are going to give you a hard second look.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was, Christopher Lee was basically like special forces during World War II.
Oh, yeah. That's
that generation. He had killed people like that using that technique.
I feel like I take for granted sometimes the blessing of never having to have been put in that position.
Yeah. Scroll Reaper's got a question. I was wondering, for an artist who wants to get into comics, what's an essential pack of books to study, comic books to read, and master artists to do master studies of in order to understand comics?
Okay, so here's my list, and I'm going to base this list on really what editors are kind of looking for now, which is very important. It's so important that I see a lot of artists that are incredibly talented, and you can plainly see the talent on the page, but they would have an extraordinarily difficult time getting hired because they're really not drawing characters in a way that editors or fans want to see them. And a lot of times that's conditioning, and it's not fair, but it is true. And so if that is your goal and you want to approach it, clinically, like I want to get work, I want to work in a style that is going to be attractive to employers and to fans. And you can always adapt that style. And this is none of this is ever handcuffs. You can ultimately take that and make it your own and find your own thing from it. But I do recommend, and since you're asking in that way, I'm going to tell you that I think the artists that are best to look at right now, Alan Davis, I'm going to put him at number one. He is the basis for Ivan Rice. And now this is not to diminish Ivan Rice because he's incredible in his own way. He brings so much. And also I'd highly recommend Ivan Rice. But Alan Davis is a basis for so many artists. Help me out here. He did Ultimates.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ellen Davis.
No.
Ivan Rice.
No. He did.
Brian Hitch.
Brian Hitch, yes.
Brian Hitch, yes.
Yeah.
Brian Hitch.
Yeah, who I love to death, and I know him, and I'm so bad with names sometimes. Like when I think, but anyway, Brian Hitch is also very heavily influenced. So I really recommend Alan Davis. That's a great one to look at. I really, really recommend that you look at Sean Gordon Murphy right now.
Oh God, yeah, his stuff is amazing.
And I could point out, I could say Sean Murphy looked at, this artist or that artist, and I don't know for sure. I should ask him sometime. He's very forthright, but none of that matters because he's boiled that down into a style that I think is beautiful, very, very original, and highly in demand. And you can get so much from it. His way of blocking, he actually did he did a post, wherever it was, talking about how he's really focusing on blocking right now. And what that is taking an image. I'm just going to point this out. So here's your panel. And blocking is, here's my foreground and, here's my background element. And maybe I'll go dark with this and light with this here. And I'm just working, in the background can kind of go here too. And you can see how it's composed. I'm using my rule of thirds and some basic composition, like a golden section, like the rule of thirds kind of works like this. So this one is kind of centered up on this third. This one's centered down here. You could say this is centered here, whichever. But it's pretty compositionally sound, but it's also heavily blocked in terms of lighting. And so if I have a bunch of elements in my picture and they all fit into this area here and all relatively light, and then some elements here and I fit them into there, that's really blocking. And some artists can take that really, really far. Mike Mignola, I highly recommend you look at him too. He is so good at that, but you can get so much from Sean Gordon Murphy. And I really say that's an artist you should look at. The other artist, I think, Dan Mora over at DC right now is such a great example of, I see so many classic Marvel and DC artists in his work, but it's so solid and original and exciting for me. I think his stuff is really great. I'd really recommend looking at his work. And Jorge Jimenez, really recommend you look at Jorge Jimenez. So many artists now are working on the computer, and I recommend that you do. I don't, and it's a luxury for me to not do it. But if you want to get work, being really good at doing your work on the computer, that's very, very helpful. So Jorge Jimenez does this beautiful, incredible stuff on the computer. A lot of really great shading tricks and techniques. I shouldn't call them tricks; they're techniques. Feels like I'm cheapening it by calling it a trick, but yeah, that would be my list of artists to really kind of focus on right now. If you're serious about, this is the kind of work that editors are looking for, this is what they want to see, that is really what they want to see.
Books to study, I would also say the Will Eisner series is utterly amazing.
It is. Now, I'm going to say when it comes to something like Will Eisner, some of the composition books, you really need to kind of figure out where you are in terms of your learning, because that stuff can get very difficult to grasp and difficult to put into practice until you kind of build some foundation first. It's a little bit higher level knowledge. And so depending on where you are, I really recommend you look at it, but you want to focus on, in my opinion, the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way.
I was going to bring that one up next.
Yeah, and it's a foundational thing, so it's useful kind of no matter how advanced you are. But something like Will Eisner's book that's really for somebody that really wants a refined sense of storytelling. And it's an important book. Yeah, really, you have to look at it, of course. But you want to, when you're learning, you don't have a teacher to say you're ready for this and not for that. So I recommend foundation first, and that is this kind of sketching. Just simple block in. And what I would do is, open a comic of like Alan Davis and just do simple sketches like this of the figures in the book. It's so important to do that, do thousands of them. And then anatomy, making sure your anatomy is good. Lighting. Now, you can look at anatomy books, and it's important to know where the muscles go. So looking at anatomy books is good. I don't really know what to recommend, honestly. I like Bridgman, but Bridgman, his anatomy is...
it's exaggerated.
It is, and I love it, but...
So no.
But really, learning where the muscles go, you can get that just from some Google image search. Just type in, human anatomy, and you get that stuff. Where it really comes into practice is how it's put together and how it's constructed, and you'll get that from other artists.
Yeah, another book I would heavily recommend reading is Understanding Comics.
That's Scott McCloud.
Yep.
Yeah, and that one, now I have to admit, I'm an image artist. I'm an image comic artist. And
no, really?
Yeah, so for some of you know exactly what I'm about to say just based on that. And if you don't, what I'm trying to say is that Scott McCloud, 90% of it went straight over my head. I had a hard time with it. I did not understand.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Dave.
And you know what? I'm probably unfair to it too, because I was working at Image when this was early on for me at Top Cow, and another artist had it. And my focus, and okay, look, I'm just going to be honest. I've never cared. I want to draw an awesome looking arm. You know, I want Joker's face to look really cool and really crazy. And that's the stuff I really focus on. I want my pose to look crazy and as good as I can make it and have a lot of dynamics. And that's the stuff that people really respond to. And storytelling and backgrounds and all that stuff is incredibly important. But this is what, like having like veins on my biceps. That's what the stuff that excites me. And when I was reading Scott McCloud and honestly, and Will Eisner's book too, I was like, I don't care.
Fair.
I'm sorry. I'm not an intellectual. And you know what? The comic business needs both types of artists.
I agree.
Guys like me, we would never have made Dark Knight Returns,
Fair. I mean, I know with my personal influences, Sean Murphy's definitely a big influence on me lately. Well, just in general, Todd McFarlane's a big influence for me. And Joe Madureira is a huge influence on me.
Now, and I hesitate to say, so I love Joe Madureira, and you can get so much. His stuff is so dynamic. I hesitate to recommend it for the same reason I would hesitate to recommend that you draw too much like me, because I do a style kind of an era. And while I've got a career with it still, and I'm very fortunate to still be getting work and doing well with it, it is of an era. The guys that I'm describing, I think, are artists that, because when you come in, they want you to look like a modern style artist, somebody who's doing the modern look. And that really would, I think, help you more with that.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, Marvel and DC aren't hiring me. I'm a manga artist.
But, Joe Mad is definitely an artist of an era.
Yep.
And he is a strong, drawing too much like that right now is an impediment. If you do it beautifully, you do beautiful work, you can always overcome that, but you'll definitely put a roadblock in front of yourself because you'll get pigeoned in as somebody that draws in that style, and it's not really what they're looking for right now. And that will change. It always does. But right now, that's not what they're looking for.
I mean, Peach Momoko is a thing, but I think she's an exception to it, so...
Well, every rule, there's always exceptions.
Exactly.
I'm a little bit hesitant to throw out like this is a rule and you shouldn't do this, because there's going to be people that are going to prove you wrong 100%. But at the same time, I don't want to just hem and haw and not tell you what I actually think.
No, I completely agree with you. So I mean, granted, you'd know better than I would.
Well, I don't know if that's true though. I mean, I know what worked for me, and I like, especially when I was younger, I'm very opinionated. I ruminate over this stuff like crazy, and it's so important for me to be able to systemize and understand all of these things. And I do it with things that it's really not useful to do it with, and that's probably one of them. But I put a lot of thought when I was learning how to draw into, am I working in a way that's going to be advantageous for me? And it sounds very mercenary, and I can't compare myself to some of the really creative artists out there that do something really original. I don't do it.
I was going to ask you something about the sword.
Oh yes,
that if given the cut, I'm wondering if it should be a reverse grip, so the blade's coming out towards us. But that would probably make it go off the page, though.
It would make it go off the page, which I would not like.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, because that would basically create a tangent. So.
Yeah, I mean, I could do it.
No,
and it would still work.
No, do your thing. This is you do your thing.
Okay.
The swordswoman in me is like, it's more of a, but do your thing.
Well, I see this a lot of times with movies, people say, oh, but the gunplay it's not accurate. I'm like, yeah, but it was awesome. That's what matters, right?
Well, I mean, I don't watch too many samurai movies for accuracy in the fighting arts. I mean, there were people who did know what they were doing. Toshiro Mifune knew how to fight with a sword and stuff like that. And there are people who do. But the reverse grip isn't something that people usually would use with the sword. I mean, you did, but it's not really a technique that really you use. It's more of a knife fighting technique.
Now, what's in her other hand is the sheath.
Yep.
And I wasn't seeing it as that originally, so it means I need to make it quite a bit longer.
Yeah, it's actually supposed to be quarterstaff length, but I didn't draw it like that. So, so Dan, was it Genovese?
NVC.
Yeah, I prefer to draw like Dave in that era. Huh? Yeah, draw what you want. I mean, what it really comes down to is draw what you want.
But I think that actually, let me talk about Dan Mora, an artist who I said I can see so many years of Marvel artists and DC artists past in his work. But he has a style that I think is very modern and very interesting, and that is the key to making that work. He's like, I can see some John Romita Jr. in his work and some other artists. Drawing like John Romita Jr. would be the same kind of problem as drawing like me. It's kind of from an era, but doing what he did and incorporating it, that's the way to go. If you can do that, yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's all what, mixing it up. And mixing it up, all that comes down to, it's not like some alchemy that's very, very difficult. What it is you take a style, whatever it is, whatever artist you're looking at, you take that as far as you can, and then you put that aside and you find another artist and you do it again. And I did this actually quite a bit starting. I went through a whole Dale Keown period, a Mark Silvestri period. Obviously, he was my teacher and my favorite, and what made me want to work in comics.
Well, you got a lot of Silvestri in you.
Yeah, and I always will, and it's inescapable for me, which is good now and bad when I was starting, because we were all kind of drawing like him. We were trying to separate yourself out and be your own artist was so difficult at the time, because I just didn't know how to do anything differently. And so it was starting to bring in artists like Alan Davis, actually, and Dale Keown, the Kubert brothers. Simon Bisley was like the headline big one for me. Mike Mignola was another big one. Kevin Nolan was big. And once I started looking at those artists and incorporating them, that's when I started actually finding a style that was working more for me. I remember Mark Silvestri was very excited for me that I was starting to make it work, because it's such a tough thing to go from just doing what ultimately is, too close a rendition of what another artist is doing, and starting to find your own style. And I was finally starting to find it. He was very supportive as a boss. He was the best. There was never a time when he was like, "Oh, you need to draw this like I would do it." It actually made it difficult to teach sometimes. I think at the studio we had, like, Joe Benitez really had his own style. Anthony Chun, who ultimately went into animation, but he did some really amazing stuff, was his own very different kind of artist. And Mark was helping, but also trying very hard to not step on them, and take away the things that they were doing that were really individual to themselves.
That makes sense.
I want that down there. It feels good just to kind of sketch quickly and just get what I want down and just let it flow.
It's looking great. I mean, it's amazing.
Thank you, Allison. Appreciate it.
I love how like you're just kind of roughing everything out with microns. It's just like, it's great.
Yeah, no, I have my Posca, so I can erase this where I need it, and I will. There will be a few places, but for the most part, I feel like it's kind of worked out how I wanted.
Let's see. It looks awesome, Dave. Are both you guys working on something? Actually, I'm just sitting here and watching Dave work.
Yeah, so is Eric. He's looking at me like, man, I'm tired. Eric, what time did you wake up this morning?
4.
Yeah, 4. So yeah, Eric is flagging. His wife and daughter, they went. They're staying at a bed and breakfast, so they went and headed there a few hours ago, and I'm sure Eric is looking forward to getting there.
Oh, are you going? You're staying there tonight, Eric?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We've got 3 bedrooms here, and
I'm moving in.
and 2 kids. So we didn't really have our old house. We had a great guest bedroom. It was all set for that. This one, we put all of our space into, or our extras into horse stuff. So
That makes sense.
The house is a little smaller. All right.
Yeah, you know, this is what it is. I mean, as long as you're happy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm really liking being outside a little more right now. I'm closer with it's ironic. I'm actually closer with the neighbors here than at the old place. Like my neighbor came over today and borrowed some hay. Borrowed, I mean, you know, if you give hay, you give him hay. So, but yeah, he just got some sheep in, and he didn't have hay, and he needed some right away. So, you know, went out there and talked to him for a little bit, and brought out some hay to his truck. And I never did stuff like that at the old house. I love it.
That's awesome. Where are they? They're there.
She still needs to put up here. This is where I'm going to have to start really breaking up the Posca.
Oh. Is it something I want to...
Because I can sketch in the blood, but get it all perfect without...
Oh, yeah. No, I know what you mean. But just in case anybody's curious, I might have a problem. Posca.
Oh, yeah.
More Posca.
Posca started releasing new pellets that you can buy, like earth tones.
Then I got...
They're really, really great.
I only have white.
Yeah.
More Posca.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. They really are good.
All right.
I blame, yeah, D-Dubs for that. Daniel Warren Johnson. He got me sold on Poscas.
Yeah, for me, it was Mark Silvestri, actually. It was right at the start of the pandemic. Literally at the start. We were in Mexico at a convention, and he was showing them to me. And that weekend, we were having breakfast or lunch, and it was a bunch of us. And somebody said that the U.S. is instituting a travel ban, I guess, you know, basically shutting the border temporarily. And we were thinking we might not get out of Mexico. We could like live there now, you know, which, hey, yeah, they could do worse. The weather was beautiful, and it was March. So I was thinking, oh, I can handle that.
Well, it'll be warm. Yeah. Well, when I first started using Posca, it was actually because of your stream. I saw you using it to white things out, and I was like, huh, I got a few of them. And then I was watching D-Dubs on his stream using them, like, I need to get more of those. And he goes, yes, you do. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you can always take it further. It's amazing how quickly they've kind of taken over the business. Everybody used to use white out in a jar, and you'd have to kind of mix it with water, and you could only paint over, or you could only ink over it really effectively with a brush, because you used to use a brush and a quill would just cut right through it.
Yep.
Now, I've never tried to use a quill actually with Posca, but I also couldn't use my microns. My microns would cut right through it, and they don't, so much more useful.
I mean, when I tend to do my traditional inking, I usually use my Winsor Newtons. So.
You go the totally traditional route.
Yeah, when I ink, I really take my time to. I love brush inking.
Yeah, I hate it, but it's the quickest way. You can see how bad I am with brush here. Like none of this is subtle at all. But then I can go in once this is kind of blocked in and clean things up with my other tools, which is what I always do.
Well, I use a combination of different things as I'm going, but like I lay down a lot of my initial lines with a brush, and then I'll go in and actually if I'm doing like technology and things, I usually use microns because I want them to feel more static.
Yeah, I'm generally when I do technology, I always want to do something that looks a little beat up and destroyed. I struggle to do something that looks really nice and clean, and microns definitely work better for that.
Oh, well, when I want it to look beat up and stuff, that's when I go in with the brush and things for the shading and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, my initial stuff when I do tech is, I usually really do microns and just technical pens and stuff, or my Copics or whatever. Then I go from there. I mean, I try to make one of the things I try to do with my style is I try to do these highly intensive backgrounds, and then I make my characters look fairly cartoony.
That's very much like a Cerebus kind of a. Dave Sim had Gerhard doing his background.
Doing that.
Beautiful backgrounds.
It's one of the places I got the idea from.
Yeah.
You can see it in my Prototype 0 stuff that I really do I really take my time on backgrounds.
Well, they make such a difference. It's your setting, it's your world. And the more believable you can make it, for me, ideally, if it looks like a photograph, you take away. But if it looks created and like a visualized world, it can be so engaging, and draw somebody in. Like we all kind of we don't want a complete escape from our life. It's not like it's misery or anything, but it's nice to have that momentary kind of trip into a fantasy kind of world, and the more engaging you can make it, the more effective it is. I think.
I agree.
Eric, thoughts?
Agreed.
He's nodding. Eric is so tired, he's just nodding.
Eric's like, is it time to sleep?
Yeah. Look, I don't care. I'm just tired.
He's like, when I go to the bed and breakfast, it'll be nap time, followed by extended nap time.
Yeah. We have a big day tomorrow. I have to cut the grass. And it just rained all day today. Well, not all afternoon. It's soaking out there. It's going to be a real problem.
Translation, cut the grass the day after.
We have no choice because Meredith is so tomorrow it's Meredith's 50th birthday party. And she got like this outdoor tent. We have a band. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh God! All right. Well, yeah, that sounds like you do got to do that.
Yeah, it needs to look decent. It's not terrible. Like it's not that long since I cut the grass, but it's long enough that I can't leave it. And considering she planned her own birthday party, I kind of need to get off my butt and do something.
How long do you think it takes to move?
So Meredith's birthday is tomorrow?
No, she's later on in the week, but this is the weekend and it worked for everybody.
Right. So. Tomorrow's actually my dad's birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's my birthday today. He was the day after.
My sister and I were both May birthdays.
Yeah, my sister is also in August. She's next week, midweek, 23rd. That's Thursday. Dan says, by the time Eric gets back to the bed and breakfast, it'll be breakfast. It's okay. You can also have second breakfast later.
Yeah. Yeah, you can eat Hobbit style tomorrow. Actually, after cutting the grass, you might be ready for second breakfast.
Oh, is Eric cutting the grass too?
Yeah. So we've got a tractor attachment, a big, huge lawnmower. Yeah. So I'm going to put that on in the morning, and then I've got a riding lawnmower. It is a lot of grass.
I believe it.
Yeah.
You have horses, but you got your friend to come visit you, and you're making him mow the lawn. That's so amusing to me.
I know. I am.
Dave's actually got a whip too. And cracks it to make sure.
I helped Eric at his place when I visited. I helped a bit. So, yeah, you can't.
No worries. you think the ground will dry in time?
No,
probably not.
No, not really. But I'm just going to do what I can.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't look too terribly.
Dan says it's true friendship.
Sorry, what did Dan say?
It's true friendship.
Yeah. Yeah, true friendship is when you can count on somebody to drop everything and help you move.
No, that's definitely one of them. But the way my friends usually would put it is, a friend is someone who will look after you and all that. A true friend is someone who will help you hide a body.
I've heard that before. Yeah. That's true. I don't know if I have any friends that I would hide a body for. It's sad to say.
I got a few.
Yeah, Eric.
Further comment needed.
Turning you right in.
Yeah, you
That's it. He's over here.
Yeah, you went that way.
If the FBI is listening, I really didn't do it. No.
Yeah. There was a time I worried, surveillance, and they're watching, and you kind of realize they don't care,
No, they don't give two shits.
No.
Also, it's not like everybody has a listening device with them at all times. It's always listening to them. It's called a smartphone.
Right. Now, I will say I generally don't have my phone, not because I'm afraid I'm being followed by the aliens or something. I don't know. I just never. I've got my YouTube channel. That's all technology, I know, but I'm not the most technological kind of person, and I just much prefer to not have something on me that people can call. And yeah, so I'll go like a week, and then I open my phone, and I've got a bunch of messages, and every single response I make is, "I'm sorry that I have to apologize all the time."
Sounds like your email.
Yes, well, yeah, my email's kind of the same, and email can be worse for me because I'll get behind with work. And then I'm afraid to see just how angry my editor is. And this is the worst thing you can do. By the way, when you get work, if you're working, or a true friend will save your cat.
Yes, Mike actually, a few years ago, when I was diagnosed with MS in 2018, I basically was in the hospital for like a month, recovering from the relapse that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I literally lost like my ability to walk. And had to go and learn how to walk again. It was not fun. Don't recommend.
No.
I definitely gave MS a low Yelp review. But yeah, so when I got home, shortly afterwards, my cat Rocket apparently was very sick for a bit. And I had no idea. Just how bad he was. And this one night he was moaning horribly, and like you knew there was something wrong. And I put out this call onto Facebook. I'm like, can somebody help me get my cat to the vet tomorrow? Because I'm really worried about him. And Mike was there bright and early to help me get the cat to the vet.
Yeah, and you know what? People have lives, and I'm sure Mike, had a lot of stuff he had to do that. But some things are more important, and it's great to have someone like that you can count on. That's great.
So, it's Rocket, actually, a friend. Rocket was the one. He was he wasn't even 2 years old.
Wow, that's great.
And the other great thing is the vet generally, like, what I needed to do to save him was quite expensive, and well, I had to spend a month in the hospital. It's not like I was really making any serious money at the time. And they were like, well, because of everything you've been through, we can set up like a payment plan for you and all that. And I had another friend who came through, and he literally just paid for the cat.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not a small thing. I mean, it's I'm sure not the easiest thing to find the money to be able to do that, but it's a big deal. Just, to be able to come in at a time like that for something so important. That's great.
Yeah, that would have broke me.
Oh, yeah. Well, you were going through so much.
Yeah, I definitely could not lose my kitten. So who is now sleeping on my bed. The other one's around here someplace. He was just bumping into me. Hmm. I'm loving how that's looking.
Thank you. Having a lot of fun. I haven't drawn a ninja in ages. I can't even think of the last time.
There was wasn't there a composition video you did? Or was it the how to draw action scene? Was it that one?
Was that, did it have ninjas?
No. I think it was a composition video you did.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to have to put ninja in this now.
Yeah, ninjas are the best. They just work. It's such a shame that in the 80s they went too far with it a little bit. They got a little too cheesy, and now it's so hard to put a ninja into anything. You know.
Good. Looks like Dennis is going to bed. All right. Well, I have to work. Well, enjoy work, Dennis. I know it usually sucks to work, but have a great night.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's too bad we're losing you, but I understand. This is a bit of a late stream.
Yeah.
And again, apologize to all of you guys for that. That was totally on me.
Ooh, Mike just shared with me some of his art.
You know what I'm going to do.
When in doubt, black it out.
Yeah. When in doubt, black it out. And it was kind of looking a little lumpy. That's the Wallywood famous rule.
Yep. Yep, Wallywood, and then I heard it from Frank Miller.
Wallywood was first.
Yes, Wallywood was definitely first with it.
Now, on the other hand, it's Frank Miller, so, you know, you got to give it a little credibility anyway, even if he didn't come up with it.
Yep. Yeah, I like where you lay down those thick blacks on it.
Yeah, thank you. The tough thing with something like this is I want to get her arm defined in there without overpowering it too much up here, because it can close in and just get muddy so fast. And I've done it so many times. And while I have my Posca to fix, that's a tough one to fix when you do that.
Thank you for subscribing, Dennis. And Grant saying, wow, neat. And I agree. Very wow, very neat.
So, Eric, you have plans for tomorrow?
I think it's mow the lawn.
Yeah.
Nothing
important yet. Yeah. We'll be mowing, and what else was happening tomorrow?
Eric's like, let me sleep, Dave. Let me sleep.
Nope.
There was someone else who was going to do.
That's Saturday. So we're going to go visit Dan Lassard on Saturday.
Oh, cool.
I'm looking forward to that. We're going to go to a studio and do a little painting. So.
Very cool.
Maybe we'll look at your camera setup.
Yeah, we can do that too.
I actually want to do a paint stream at some point on my channel. I've been thinking about basically painting over magic cards and like extending the art on them.
Yeah, that's a popular thing now, isn't it? Like I've seen that here and there, and people can do some really cool stuff that way.
Yeah, I was thinking about starting with like the basic land cards and adding to them, because I don't want to risk it on a card that's worth a crap load of money. So
yeah, it's, you know, until you kind of have your system down, it's not a bad way to go.
Yeah, I know. I'll just pull out my Black Lotus and I'm going to extend the artwork, and oh no, there goes $200,000.
You have 50,000 something options to choose from.
Sorry, hang on.
There's a lot of cards.
Did you say $200,000?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, Post Malone just bought the one ring basically for
It's over 2 million.
2 million. One of one card.
Yeah, the one of one ring.
Wow.
Yeah, it was some Lord of the Rings tie-in they did. And
Yep.
Someone sold it to him. Can't remember who, but he bought it for $2 million.
Wow. Oh, I would have sold it to him for $2 million. I don't have it.
I would have sold it. I bought a collector booster box trying to get it like everybody else did. And I was like, I will sell this thing in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So this guy was the first owner. He actually ripped it from a pack.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
guy pulled it from a booster pack. Players asking if this is my character. Yes, this is my character, Rin. She's one of my fantasy characters.
And she needs a cape. I didn't give her a cape. Oh, and she needs the rest of her foot. See, look at this. I missed all kinds of stuff.
Hide it in the cape.
She's got her cloak and her ripped up cloak and things. She is a street urchin who knows a bit of magic and is blind.
I do superheroes, so it's a cape.
That's fine.
I can't do.
You can call it what you want. That's fine.
Okay.
You're drawing it. I'm not going to complain.
All right.
Cape and dagger.
Hey. Okay, I see your point, but still. Yeah, all this stuff in here. I want more detail in there, but I'm not going to do it with a brush because I can already tell I'm just going to end up really causing some problems. And I could get smaller shapes in, but part of it is the sensitivity is so high and my ability to control that sensitivity is so low that I have to be really careful about what I'm doing with it. Like I managed to get her face in a little bit with it, but that was because I knew what I wanted. Mm-hmm. Whereas here, I'm not really sure, and I'd really rather make those decisions with something that I have more control with.
How did I come up with her? She's a D&D character I play. Is where I came up with it. They're in Dungeons and Dragons. For people who don't know, there is a subclass of wizard called Bladesinger, and I wanted to do a Bladesinger. And my brother was starting a new game, and I'm just like, humans can get these things called feats, which will give them like additional abilities and type stuff. And I took an ability called blind fighting, and I was just like, I'm making a magic using Zatu Ichi character. And that's literally where it came from, was my idea.
Awesome.
And I've been working on I've been doing like quote unquote one-page backstories for D&D characters for people, where I draw a comic page featuring their character and I give their backstory in a page or two. It's a commission rate that I have, and I'm working on one for her, which I'm probably going to make to be out to maybe like 10 pages or something like that, and I'll end up putting it up on my Patreon account. So
that's very cool. So I have to ask, have you played Baldur's Gate?
I have not played Baldur's Gate yet.
I would have thought you were right on top of that one.
Well, it's the whole thing of I am poor, so
yeah, that definitely counts as a factor. So I downloaded it. The thing is, I have a hard rule about not playing any games, like any games in my office on my computer. I really try to stick to that because I've done it before, and next thing you know, job is just not happening, and I'm down here. Meredith is upstairs thinking I'm getting work done, and I'm down here. That's not good. So I downloaded it and I made my character, and I kind of stopped there. I thought, you know what, I can't be doing this.
Can you carry over the character to like PS5? Then?
Probably not. So I totally wasted my time. The thing is, I was watching some videos. I tend to watch Let's Plays. I was watching a bunch of videos, and I just wanted to try it. I thought, I'm just going to do it. And yeah, what a total waste of money for me to do that. And I don't regret it.
I'm probably going to get it like on the PlayStation when it comes out.
Yeah.
I try not to play games on my computers because I do so much art and things on them. I don't really want to do other things on it. Like, I do video editing, I do 3D stuff, I do my drawing, and
Yeah, you run a risk of bogging your computer down with too many things for sure.
Yeah. So Baldur's Gate, is that a new game? Or yeah, it's a new PC game. Actually, it's not new. It's been in released for a while, but they finally put like the full version of it out or something, and it's still not complete. Like they don't have one of the character classes in there yet, but it's basically the latest D&D game, and the Baldur's Gate series has always been known for really, really capturing the rules set of D&D and giving a really good play experience.
And apparently they captured it. Well, I've watched a lot of Let's Plays, and the stuff they're doing is just remarkable. I don't even know what to say about it. It's incredible. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it coming out on PlayStation, because I can actually do that. Like Meredith watches whatever insufferable show she watches, and then I can play my video game beside her with the sound off. That's what I do.
Fair enough.
That's how we get along. You know, as a husband and wife, you have to find strategies. And if she's going to watch Gilmore Girls, Eric, you're in that same boat with me. So, you know, I need to be able to do something. So, yeah. She watches The Crown. You're in that boat with me too. Mm-hmm. Basically, you know, yeah. And some stuff I can watch. You know what we're watching right now, Allison? Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of this? It's called, this is a show from the 90s, Due South.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it. I guess I live in... Anyway, so we're watching that one right now. I love that show.
I have not watched it. I did watch The Crown.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched some of it. I actually enjoyed quite a bit of The Crown.
No, I like The Crown. Crown was good.
The amount of times Meredith will watch some like horrible, insufferable thing I can't stand, and the next thing you know, I'm kind of getting into it, and it happens a lot. Like Dancing with the Stars, I got way into that show.
you like to dance in every.
Yeah, I did. I know. Yeah, that's like a tear up your man card if you like that show, and I like that show. What can I say?
I don't judge. Well, I know lots of men who watch Dancing with the Stars. So.
Yeah, you know, good entertainment. Good entertainment. We actually watched. What was the design one?
Oh, thank you for the birthday wishes, Carlos. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Mike also said he played Baldur's Gate 3, but had to stop because it's so addictive.
Yeah, that's the problem. You know, it's great to have that, but it's not great to start blowing deadlines and not getting things done. So, and you know, none of us are. Well, I say none of us. None of us here between us three are young and just have infinite time. So,
nope, definitely not young. Definitely getting older. I just made my 47th trip around the sun. So.
Yeah, well, I got you beat by 4 years now. I'm 51. Meredith is just turning 50.
Yep.
Eric, you're 65.
Yeah.
How?
65 turning 70.
Eric's 40 something, and I can't remember.
44.
44. There you go.
You're still in our age range. My younger sister just turned 40 last year. So.
Yeah.
My older brother, who you met,
yeah,
he's turning 49 this year.
Oh, well, he looks great. I wouldn't have said he was 49.
Mike's turning 48 this year.
We're all getting older.
Yep.
And nobody's ever getting younger. It's not really fair.
Yeah, I haven't quite figured that one out yet.
Yeah. Well, you know, you have kids, and it's probably not a good idea if we were all getting younger.
As the way I put it, I have no kids that I'm aware of. I think I would know, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you would definitely know. Yeah.
9 months of problem.
9 months.
Yeah.
That's just the start.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just...
Well, wasn't there that whole show where some people didn't know they were pregnant?
Yeah, I guess that could happen. You would know at the end, though. Like, I don't think it would... You would...
I always question, like, how on earth did you not know? But
a lot of times when women don't know that they're pregnant, usually weight's an issue.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of it was that. Yeah.
Like I had I had a biology teacher that told us some stories of when she was an ER nurse. And one of the stories was a pregnant woman who had no idea that she was pregnant. Yeah. And Blair is, out of the loop, turning 19. Yeah, you're still a kid. So.
Yep. Yeah, enjoy it. It only lasts a year.
Yep. These scientists need to cook up a reverse aging machine already. It's about time.
You know, the thing about getting older too, though, is part of me, I think, yeah, I'd love to have more time and just get younger. At the same time, I'm like, man, I'm just I'm too tired. I couldn't do it all again.
I'm so happy I'm not a teenager anymore.
Yeah. There are things that come with being a teenager that are I'm glad to no longer be facing, for sure. And there are things I miss, you know, but
high school, how I don't miss you.
Yep.
How I don't miss wearing a school uniform every day. So,
I think the hardest thing about being a teenager is you have problems and you just don't have the life experience to know that they pass.
Yeah.
So it just takes on so much more importance. And you know, not to be condescending to someone that's younger, but it is true. You know, as you get older, you realize that, you know, anything that is good will pass, and anything that's bad will pass. And you have to take it as it comes.
Remember, I worked my ass off in schooling and everything, and then I got out into the real world and did far less work. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, well, I missed out on the school part, you know. But I haven't really slowed down since. It's been, you know, a lot of work all the time, which is great. At the same time, you know, it can be.
Oh, I definitely, had my, my working and all that. I mean, I've had a job since I was 12.
Okay, yeah.
Me not working is, I mean, being disabled, it's weird sometimes not waking up to go to work and stuff. That makes sense.
It does, yeah.
I mean, I try to get up and I do drawing and things like that, and actually I've been running D&D for money. So, but yeah, no, it's just weird.
Yeah, I'm sure it has its upsides and its downsides.
Yeah, but then I have my days where I basically don't get out of bed. And it's not because I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure those are tough days.
Yeah, when we had the heat wave like a month ago, I'm still recovering from that. That really messed me up. Even with like sitting in air conditioning and all that, I could still feel the heat. And I don't really know how to describe it aside from saying it like that. I could still feel that it was hot. It was still messing with me.
Well, it's really cool down. I don't know where you are, where we are. We had such a cold day. I had to put on a jacket.
Oh, it's nice here. I mean, I have all my windows open right now. I don't even have a fan on right now. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in the Boston area, so
I think you'd be a little cooler than we are here. I'm in Canada, but I would be further south.
Yeah, it's only like in the 70s today. Yeah, it's in the high 60s right now. So.
Oh yeah, it's chilly. I've got the window open. It's very nice.
Yeah, so I got my windows open. I'll probably put a fan on when I go to bed tonight, because if I can get the room colder, I sleep better. And Luke made it. Yes, you did, Luke. I see you. You're there.
Is that Luke Forwardson?
Yes, it is.
There you go.
Made it. He's joining us.
Awesome.
Have a nice, wonderful time. Look, guys, I got Dave to draw for my birthday. It's amazing. Oh, how's your project coming along? That good, huh?
Okay, look. The truth is, I got so overwhelmed with this summer with a few couple extra projects. I did a couple of Batman covers. I did a Superman cover that they just solicited.
Ooh, I'll have to order.
And then with San Diego, yeah, the last month anyway. I have not been, well, last 2 months. Yeah. I am so close to being finished too. I talked to my writer and had to, it was a lot of mea culpa. I'm very sorry. I'm so far behind, but I'm almost done. I'm kind of going through the last couple of pages. It starts to get really hard, which is terrible. Every project I've ever done where I start to get to the end of a book, it starts to, like, you feel kind of emotionally and mentally done, but you're not done. You still need to get it finished. And yeah, I'm so close to being done.
Well, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait till you can talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And for people wondering, no, I don't know what it is.
Yes, she does.
Damn it. Oh. Yeah, that's right. You painted that Superman. Then you released a picture of it, right? That did look amazing. I agree with Luke completely.
Oh, thank you. What's happened is, so we've been painting. Eric and I have been painting a lot, and I've just really wanted to do a little bit of painted work. It was like the urge to do it was getting too strong to deny, and that's kind of what happened. I just did some painted covers. And I wonder, this is where, like, what do you guys think? So I love painting. I've done some painting. I'm pretty happy with it, but I'm nowhere near as good at painting generally as I am at drawing, or confident, And
I would definitely say you're competent at painting, Dave. Don't sell yourself short. I mean, yeah, you're hitting every technique and everything, like what a person who's dedicated themselves, like Alex Ross or something. No, but you're still awesome.
But you have to bear in mind, and thank you, but that's who I'm competing with, Like, realistically, when you go into a business like this, you're competing with some of the best. And I wonder, am I really making a mistake trying to focus more on painting? Like, is this a stupid thing for me to do? But I'm so motivated to do it. It's tough,
I mean, it's one of the reasons why I do gouache painting and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not the best at doing gouache, but I have fun with it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and I noticed the older you get, the more likely it is that you're not going to change what you're doing. And you could say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I think it's much more. I'm afraid of the risk, and I'm just doing it. So and I've always kind of been that way. I'm pretty much just going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I am wringing my hands and sweating and thinking, is this a mistake? You should not be focusing on this stuff. I don't know. Worry about it a lot.
Yeah. I said I like working with gouache. I also do acrylic work. I paint miniatures.
What do you like the most, gouache or acrylic?
I prefer gouache.
Really? Yeah. Well, gouache for me is very difficult. It's a lot like oil.
Yeah.
And I tend to I put a layer down, be it, acrylic or colored pencil, and it's fixed. And then I can go on top of it and move on. Whereas, gouache or oil, there's so much more interplay with the medium. It's a really tactile experience. And when I see Dan DeSantos do it, or I see Eric Gist do it, it blows me away. But every time I try, it's a medium that I struggle with. So
oil I definitely struggle with. Yeah, gouache is a bit easier for me. I mean, it's being the combination of watercolor and acrylic. It kind of feels good. I also like watercolor.
Well, and I think that's such a key thing. I hate watercolor. I've never been able to do a picture that I didn't think was the worst with watercolor. It's so hard. And when I say I hate watercolor, I don't mean that I hate the medium. Like, I don't respect the medium. That's not what I mean. I mean,
you don't like your watercoloring.
I cannot do it. I think personally, it's the most difficult painting medium.
I don't know. Luke says when he graduated art school, he specialized in gouache painting. That's really cool.
So there you go. By the way, speaking of, I guess, gouache painting and oil and some of those different things, I'm going to be visiting the Watts Atelier coming up this fall. I'm going to be staying there for a week and taking a whole intensive course. I'm going to do some figure drawing and just a bunch of different things. We're looking at, I think, November. But so I'm going to bring my camera and film a bunch of things. I'd like to do a video about it, and
Do you want me to edit it?
Yeah, we could definitely talk about that. That would be greit.
I will edit the art.
A good editor. But yeah, I'm really excited about doing it. I'm a big fan of the Watts Atelier and Jeffrey Watts, and Eric is there. He's also an instructor. He's I think you guys all know how great he is.
Mm-hmm.
I've had him on the channel a couple times on my channel, and he's also he's a Marvel and DC cover artist. Incredible. He does a lot of their Star Wars stuff. I think he's really
Yeah, that's how I knew who he was.
I want to say he's their premier Star Wars artist, but I hesitate to say, the premier person, because I feel like there's a potential I could be slighting somebody. So with that qualification, I want to say I think he is their premier.
Yeah, no, I think he is. He's definitely up there, if not. But yeah, I mean, when I think of the current Marvel Star Wars stuff, I think of him.
Yeah.
Oh, I had something else I wanted to say. Now it's gone.
This is where things start to slow down a little bit. I'm sure you notice. Getting all the little details in, and I could be such a fast artist if I only ever just this kind of simple blocking. But
I love it. Keep doing your little noodling. Noodle away.
Can never let go. What time is it, Eric? 11:15. We're still doing fine. You still awake? Eric's still going. Still good.
What was it? Oh, I went to the Hakusai exhibit at the MFA a few months ago, and that was so inspiring for me.
The what exhibit?
Hakusai. He painted the famous painting known as the Wave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was absolutely mesmerized by so many pieces in there. He's also, in a lot of ways, kind of the great-grandfather of manga.
Wow.
If you look at some of his stuff and things that he did, he kind of started to really develop manga before it was a thing.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Like, in a way that Suspiria is like one of the starts of the slasher movie genre.
Yes, yeah. Why Italian horror is so central to the history and like ongoing horror movies. Like some of the best stuff is
Dario Argento's work is just most of it's really good. There's a few of them that are duds, but
no one wins.
You Mother of Darkness.
No one can win them all.
No.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Yeah, I am a horror fanatic.
Yeah, so am I. Horror is absolutely my favorite. I have found, so here's my problem. I love horror movies, but I'm not willing to watch just anything, and much of it.
I'm picky.
Yeah, like a lot of horror is just not for me. I need something that has at least a little bit of mystery. If it's just there's a group of kids and somebody's killing them all and kind of one by one, I don't care.
Yeah, I've kind of grown out of that phase with my. Well, I grew out of that phase like in the late 80s. But that being said, I still go back and watch Halloween.
So yeah, you know what? If it's done well enough, it can still really work.
I mean, but one of my absolute favorite horror movies was The Thing. Carpenter's The Thing, the original version of it. Not the I have a soft spot in my heart for The Thing from Another World, from the 1950s, which Carpenter was inspired by.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it all comes from a short story called Who Goes There. And,
see, that I did know. I've heard of that, but I didn't know there was another movie that he was inspired by.
Yeah, if you watch Halloween, it's playing in the background of it.
Huh.
It's one of the movies that's played in the background.
There's so much knowledge that the true masters of those kinds of genres have that just goes over your head if you don't really have the understanding of the history.
I studied filmmaking, so I got clued in on a bunch of the stuff. Actually, surprisingly, MIT has an amazing film class regiment.
I'm so not surprised. You guys are a bunch of geeks.
Yep.
You guys are like the alpha geeks of the world. At MIT.
I've been accused of that. Marshall Dillon is Thing from Another World classic. Yes. Tegamo definitely agrees. And yeah, it's a great movie. It's so much fun.
Well, I'm gonna find it and watch it. So I'll put that on my list. I have one for you guys. You know what? I'm sure you guys probably already saw this or are aware of it. I had no idea. I live under a rock, but Bob Odenkirk, who he was star of Better Call Saul. Anyway, he just came out with a movie called Nobody.
Oh, it's so good.
I know, such a great movie. I couldn't believe it. I kind of saw that one out of nothing, and I thought, hey, this looks like it could be good. And so I put it on last week, and I could not believe how much I loved that movie. So good.
So good. I love that movie. Yep, scrolls with. I love how there's those little Easter eggs in films for people who study it. Yeah, there's a lot of movies. Like, I point to it follows a lot because of just how detailed that is. That is a true film where the director literally stages every little thing in the shot.
It Follows was really, it's kind of the teen slasher movie that I don't like in a lot of ways, but it was one of the best horror movies I have ever seen. Yes. So it shows, you don't have to do much. You just, a level of expertise. Also, it was such a cool concept.
Yeah. The whole concept behind it of the movie has like a reference to so many slasher films in it. Like from the very first shot of the film, it's literally a recreation of the opening Haddonfield shot from Halloween.
Yeah.
The address of the house that the girl runs out of is 1436, which is the same as the Elm Street house. Like, it has so many little references like that that's all throughout it. There's scenes in it that, like, reference Friday the 13th, way Jason poses himself and things. It has the synth music to it that's very John Carpenter-esque.
Yeah. All this stuff went over my head. A lot of times, I'll finish a movie, and if it's really interesting, I'll go onto Google and do some research just to find out more about it. And then that's when I kind of learn a lot of that stuff. But left to my own, I've watched so many horror movies, but I
saw that movie I think 7 times in the theater because I kept needing to see it again to pick out new things from it because it just so pulled me in.
Yeah.
And I love it when I ask people, so what's it about? What does the monster represent?
That's a very interesting question. And I mean, okay, look, I'm reluctant to say because my answer is going to be stupid. You know what I mean? It's going to be very surface level, but this is kind of my understanding. So I'm just going to tell you. It's guilt, I would think, essentially. I mean, that's if I had to boil it down to one word, it's your past, the you that you can't escape.
In a way.
So, I mean, that's the best I got. I don't have anything any deeper than that.
The cycle of abuse.
Huh. See? That's why I should keep my mouth shut.
If you watch the movie and pay attention to certain parts in it, for instance, the lead female character in it, her name's Jay. It's a reference to Jamie Lee Curtis. And whenever she's on screen with her mother is always out of focus and she always has a drink in her hand.
Yeah.
Showing that there's abuse there. There's references to a problem in the family with having basically her father's missing. And it references that basically he may have committed suicide throughout earlier on. And I don't really want to go into details of other things that kind of make me believe that. But there's a bunch of hints for it.
Yeah.
The way the victims all look and how they show up, and how what the different forms the monster takes is very, very important to if you watch and think of abuse.
I need to watch it again. I only saw it once and I loved it, but I need to watch it again just to pick up some more of the stuff that was in it. Eric? You have any? What's your? Okay, first of all, favorite horror movie.
My favorite horror movie?
Eric first. I already asked him. So.
Yes, Eric first. We've barely been hearing him because he's falling asleep on us.
I know. Yeah, he is. That's why I'm asking him. What?
What was it?
Pet Cemetery.
I can forgive him.
Yeah. Oh, so can I. But you know.
I'll say Pet Sematary is interesting.
I'm going to call that a case of, some movies just hit you for whatever reason the right way. So there you go.
It just depends on the day you watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
What mood you're in.
I watched all the Paranormal Activity movies. I saw one. They're terrible. I know. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah. Well, the first one's fun. The rest of them are kind of.
No, it was the first one that I saw, and it really just creeped me out for whatever reason. And
it's creepy.
That carried me through all of them. I watched every single one.
I watched all of them, and they're definitely a guilty pleasure.
Yep.
It's like found footage horror movies in me. They're a guilty pleasure. I see them, I will watch them. They can be absolutely horrible, but I'll still love them. Like the movie Hell House, though, utterly incredible.
Oh yeah, there's a sequel to that one that also was really good.
And they're making another one.
There's 3. I only saw 2.
There's three total, and they have a director's cut of the first one, and they're doing a another one that's going to go into the past of the hotel.
And you guys watching that are old enough to watch, highly recommend Hell House.
Hell House LLC,
and it done on like a 0 budget, But
yeah, it was done on almost no budget, and it works.
Yeah.
It's like Blair Witch quality budget, Blair Witch Project level, not the Blair Witch movie. They actually had more of a budget for that movie.
I'd call it a much higher quality movie than Blair Witch, which is not fair because obviously that invented a genre.
Well, yeah, it basically was it the Blair Witch Project was shot, I believe, on $10,000.
Wow.
I believe it still holds the record for highest grossing film to budget ratio, which was originally Halloween, and then it was beaten by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 1990. And I believe the Blair Witch Project beat that, and it hasn't been topped yet.
Yeah, that's a tough record to break. I saw that in the theater, and I kind of went in not knowing anything about it. Somebody else wanted to see it. And I remember half the movie just thinking, this is driving me crazy because the camera's flailing around everywhere. That was such a new technique.
Mm-hmm.
There are people throwing up motion sickness.
Yeah, so there you go. Did you see that one? Well, obviously you saw it, but theater?
I saw Blair Witch in the theater. I actually went to art theaters to specifically see that movie because I had heard about it was supposed to be super scary and all that. The ending of that film is still haunting.
It is, and
Dude standing in the corner.
Yeah, you could complain,
That was
but
probably the only part of the movie that really got to me.
yeah, it was. Now, not worry about ruining a movie that came out,
1999 or something,
right?
97, yeah.
But it was an ending to the movie that did effectively nothing, and it could not have been more powerful. There was a sequel that came out not long ago. I watched that.
Yeah, Blair Witch.
Right, and they definitely went much further, and it did nothing but weaken it.
Yeah, no, just watch the original. I mean, I've watched all of the Blair Witch movies, and the second one, I so wish they went with the director's original idea. It would have been so much better.
So what was it?
It basically, the film tells you right from the start that film doesn't lie.
Yep.
And the whole thing is about the idea that basically group psychosis, that people do crazy things in groups. And that's what it was exploring, the concept of, that there was no Blair Witch. The whole idea is that it was basically people being stupid and getting caught up in something, which it kind of gets into, but the way Hollywood basically ruined it. With what they ended up doing with it.
Well, people want to see what the actual witch is. They don't want to see that it didn't exist.
Well, they didn't. They really didn't get in. They did keep some of the concept that the whole thing was basically fake, but it didn't execute well the way they did it. Like, there's a YouTube video that breaks it down far better than I'm describing it, that basically goes through and tells you the entire original story of what it was supposed to be, and it compares it like shot by shot to what they did.
Yeah.
And it's like, if they did this, it would have been amazing.
Yeah, so I don't have Hollywood friends, really, but I know a few people that have, like, I guess, done movies,
Mm-hmm.
and you talk to them about it, and I would never be such an idiot as to say, hey, why'd you do this in this movie? Like, what were you thinking? But I have heard that you go to get a movie made, and you come in with the best of intentions, and what comes out is it's a mishmash of who had the money to fund it and who had the power to get things done, and you get what you get, and you're lucky to get something that's coherent. Even so rare that you get like a really artistic movie with a vision. That's why they're such a rarity.
That's one of the reasons why I do like independent films so much, is because there's less overhead.
Yeah, they can be great. It's so difficult to find obviously, complain it's difficult to find a good one, but that's because it's so rare.
Well, Sturgeon's law, 90% of everything is crap.
That's so there you go. I didn't know that law, but I agree.
And to answer Luke's question, no, it wasn't a happy ending.
I think that might have been a joke.
Yeah, probably, but I'm just saying. And been asked, have I seen The Legend of Hell House from the early 70s? Yes, that is that's actually written by a very major writer. I'm trying to think of his name. He wrote a bunch of episodes of Twilight Zone. He wrote the novel I Am Legend, which is far better than that piece of garbage Will Smith movie.
I'd never read the book, so I can say that I love that movie. And I've heard a lot of people that have read the book, the problems they have with it, and fair enough. But I still like
the ending. The ending was perfect in the book. But
yeah,
he ruined it. Richard Matheson, yes, Mike got it. Richard Matheson. Utterly amazing writer.
I actually had to walk out of that movie when I saw it in the theater.
I Am Legend?
I made the mistake of watching it with Meredith.
Oh.
She made it to the huddled white zombies, they're all like bleached out in the darkness, and that was it. She was out. Yeah. And I had to leave with her. I couldn't say, yeah, I'll meet you in the car in an hour.
Yeah, no, that's happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
But yeah, so Dave, what's your favorite horror movie?
As Above, So Below, which I have been reliably told by a lot of people is a terrible movie. I've even tried to show it to people, like, hey, you got to watch this movie, and people end up hating it and whatever. I love it.
It's not a terrible movie. It's very good.
Yeah, I really like that movie. There's another one. There's this guy and his friend, and they're in Paris, and he meets this girl. She kind of bites him. Look, I don't think I'm letting the cat out of the bag to say he's becoming a vampire, but he doesn't know what's going on, and he's going through the symptoms while his friend is kind of filming him almost like documentary style. It's like found footage. And yeah, and this is a case of not being a great movie. I can't remember the name, unfortunately. This is a problem. I'm bad with names, but it was just a movie that I don't know, just really enjoyed it. It could have been a superhero story more than a horror movie.
That sounds interesting. Actually, I haven't seen that one. I might have to track it down.
Yeah, well, if you can find it based on that terrible description.
I can find anything.
Okay. Yeah, I really, really liked it, though.
We got Scroll is with I Like Hereditary and Midsommar, which both of those were excellent movies.
Yeah, Midsommar, I never saw it because I heard that it was bad.
No, it's good.
Okay, and so I never gave it a chance. And I loved Hereditary. Hereditary. It's getting late. I'm forgetting how to say words. You know what? I need to watch Midsommar then. That's like recommendation right there. So Eric had one a couple years ago. It's this guy. He's alone in like a.
That movie, that's good.
It is a great movie. What was it called?
Was a guy alone.
Headhunter.
Oh, Headhunter. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's such a low budget. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and
$3,000 kind of budget.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it didn't mean anything, but this is what I get at a movie, so don't take my word for it. But yeah, I really like that movie.
Well, I mean, I love the original Evil Dead movie, even though it definitely has some problems. But
okay, yeah.
There's a tree scene in it that I got an issue with. But
I saw the original Evil Dead. I think I was 14. I was not allowed to watch television as a kid. So I watched Sesame Street and a few other things. And so when I saw that movie, it ruined my life. Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
The original George Romero.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Richard Matheson had this is, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's, it's an urban legend of Hollywood that when Richard Matheson saw Night of the Living Dead, he commented to himself, "Oh, Mr. Romero, you clever fool," because a lot of the concepts and things were basically from I Am Legend. And supposedly Romero, when he met Matheson, was like, "I didn't make any money off of it. Please don't sue the crap out of me."
So do you like stuff like Alien?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Now, Alien.
Yeah, I'm just saying Alien singular.
What about Aliens? I know it's not a horror movie, but
yeah, Aliens was okay. What was 3? Where they all had
Alien 3?
They all shaved their heads.
It didn't, as far as I'm concerned, didn't exist.
Yeah, it's like Godfather 3.
Yeah, it's
yeah, 1 and 2 was good. What was the one where Ripley hit? She was in the suit right at the.
That's Alien 2.
Aliens.
Yeah, 2 was great.
That's why you can't diss that one.
Yeah,
it's a different kind of movie, but that movie, I think, created a genre of movies.
Yeah. Isn't
it's an anti-war film
classified as a horror now? First one.
What? Yeah, I guess it could be. Should be. Terminator, the first Terminator.
The first Terminator is definitely a horror movie.
Oh, there you
go. I prefer the first Terminator to the second one.
Yeah, I agree. I love the second one, so but
the first one's fun.
Oh, there's another. Okay, this is a horror movie that I think I've asked David to watch, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't. So I'm going to bring it up again. It's really cheesy, but I really enjoyed it. Again, it's one of those. Depends on the day, but Brain Scan with
Brain Scan's great
with Edward Furlong.
Okay, I gotta write this down.
It's horribly cheesy.
I love that movie. I love that movie.
This has got to be an old movie then.
Yeah, it's when Eddie Furlong is
after Terminator 2.
Well, by old I mean Edward Furlong.
It's after Terminator 2 and before he became largely irrelevant.
Yeah, because I think it predates Terminator 2.
Yeah,
so.
That's a fun movie.
All right, Brain Scan. Well, you guys watching? That's our homework. We got to watch Brain Scan, and then I'll come back and we can talk about it.
My favorite movie that Edward Furlong was in is American History X.
That was disturbing.
I hate that movie, and it's a great movie, but it's so.
That pavement scene,
yeah, there are things in that movie that I find. There are a lot of movies out there that are so good, but then I just find them really, really depressing.
Well, one of the reasons I watch movies and TV shows is to feel something. So if it evokes an emotional response, I consider it a success in a lot of ways.
I would agree. Yeah, I had a hard time with Breaking Bad for a while because the marriage stuff that he went through is so well done, and it just made me stressed. I'd be down here working, and I'd go upstairs, and I feel like we're fighting, and meanwhile, Meredith has no idea what's going on, but I'm just like, I actually watched the whole show again because it's so great, and I fast forwarded most of especially the early stuff with his marriage.
What that show did to me was, I wonder how many people in my neighborhood have, a meth lab. I'm like, because I know that it's based in reality, this
side eye and everybody.
God, that's looking beautiful, Dave.
Thank you. This one has been a lot of fun. Very different than I was expecting to do. And normally I don't do an action pose like something like this. It's more of a So it's nice to actually get the suggestion to do something like this as opposed to what I would have originally otherwise planned. It's more of a static kind of the sort of shot that I always do.
I want to use this as a cover.
Well, I could say that I could just say it's fine.
No, I won't if you can't. So I mean, I know you have things.
I think you'll be all right.
Okay.
It's not gonna conflict with anything.
Okay.
I'm almost done.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed because now we're talking about horror movies and I could do this for the next 10 hours.
Well, we still got a lot of time before you got to mow the lawn.
That's true. Yeah.
Saturday stream. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe you could watch.
We can't talk about it on Saturday though because Allison can't be there for that one.
Well, she has homework to do. She has to watch Brains.
Yep, there you go.
I have an RPG I'm playing in. So.
Oh, is that what's going on?
That my brother's running, so I kind of gotta go.
Yeah, you can't.
He's running a Traveler game, and I think he would be very disappointed if I skipped out.
Well, especially for a commitment that you're, this isn't exactly something that you could say, I had no choice.
Yeah, no. If I was hosting the live stream, I think I could get away with it. But
well, hopefully we can do this again.
I would love to do this again.
And then we can pick it up and we can talk about Brain Scan. We'll start there.
No, I'll have to rewatch it. I haven't watched that in years. That won't be a big deal though. But I never really went over what my favorite horror movie is. That's actually hard.
That's true. We didn't ask. I'm sorry.
No, I was just thinking about it just to kind of complete the conversation. Probably comes down to a couple that I hold in very high regard. Like, I love the original Halloween. It means a lot to me. But a lot of it also goes back to the original Nosferatu. I love that movie so much.
I've only ever seen clips of that. I've never seen the whole movie.
It is one of my absolute favorite movies.
Well, I'll have to put that one on the list too then. So I got Brain Scan, Nosferatu.
The remake from the 1970s is also incredible. Just there's something about the silent film that really.
Isn't there a new?
Oh yes, they have the Last Voyage of the Demeter. I saw that on opening day.
Yeah.
I will say it's good.
Yeah.
I have some issues with it. That I'm trying to think of the best way to. If you're trying to truly adapt Dracula, I really want more of an adaptation of the novel for certain things.
Yep.
I mean, The Last Voyage of the Demeter it's one chapter in the book. It's like chapter 7. And it's interspersed throughout what's going on. Basically, you get the captain's log as it goes through. And, it's very open-ended. And one of the things that really makes it for me is one of my other favorite horror movies of The Thing. It's basically everybody's trapped in this one place and can't get away. And you're on this ship in the middle of the ocean. You can't escape the problem. So I like that kind of an aspect to a movie.
Yeah.
And just a story in general. And I thought they've been trying to make this movie literally for years. I heard about this, I think, in 2012. Was when I first heard they were trying to make this movie.
That's production hell.
And one of my issues with this movie, like, if anyone's read the book, Dracula is not affected by sunlight. That's something that came much later. Basically, he doesn't have his abilities. He's only like the strength of a normal person. It doesn't burn him. It doesn't do anything. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling a book that's almost 200 years old, but get over it.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that probably one or two people in the stream have read it. I know I haven't, so.
And there's a sequence on there where they have basically the sunlight potentially affecting him, and it just kind of annoyed me. So that's a quibble that I have, just because it's like, oh, could you just do it like I mean, I don't care if vampires are affected by sunlight. That doesn't bother me at all.
Right, but when you go back to the classic.
Yeah, and they were saying that they really wanted to adapt Dracula. They got certain aspects of it right because Dracula only appears in the book like twice. Like he's only like really on screen, as it were, in the book twice in the entire thing. Might be 3 times, but
Really?
he's not really there. What you see is the effects of Dracula.
Yeah, you know what?
That Nosferatu got right.
This is definitely not fitting in with the Bruckheimer Simpson mold.
No. So he's a what would be the best way to put it? It's like a force of nature. In a way, basically this overwhelming force of destruction that's basically there. And the Demeter logs really sell that. Like some of the best parts of the Dracula book is the beginning when he's dealing with Harker, because he has this like protective quality to him in a way, like because he's protecting Harker from his wives while he's there. And one of the other this the way that's like Dracula's portrayed there, it's like he actually kind of feels human in a certain way, but he's not. He's still this monster. And then you have the Demeter sequence where you just basically you're reading this logbook of something that's happening and nobody knows what it is, but everybody's dying. And it's just incredible. And the final part is when Dracula dies in the book. When they finally kill him, that he has this release that he didn't want to be this creature, that he wanted to be freed of this curse, and he was finally free, and he was like happy in death.
That's a real departure from every version of Dracula that I ever see. Certainly the original. He's very happy being Dracula. So it's really have you seen Renfield?
Yep. Oh wait, no, I have not seen the new Renfield movie. It's on my list of movies to watch. I haven't watched it yet.
I loved it personally. It didn't do well.
I need to watch it.
Yeah, I really, really liked it. It was just fun. Like, you know, you can't take it too seriously, but it actually, to me, I felt like it worked on every level. I just really liked it.
That's the movie that I'm just looking because it's fun.
But then you have to, you know, are you a Nicolas Cage fan? And if not, your results might vary. I love Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I love Nicolas Cage. Yeah, no, I'll enjoy the movie. I'm pretty sure it looks to be up my alley, as it were.
Yeah.
The one of my other top favorite horror movies is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original.
Yeah, that's a movie that holds up.
Because it's not a slasher movie, but it is a slasher movie.
Yeah, I think it spawned the generation of slasher.
It did, but you know, none of them really had the creativity that it had. Well, Allison, I am done.
Yeah, you definitely are. That is amazing. We're just over 2 hours.
See, look at that. Perfect time.
And I know Eric wants to get to bed.
He does, yeah. He's flagging hard.
And Scroll's telling me we need at least 300 years. So, well, you know, tough luck. We got the famous Finch autograph on there.
So yeah, there it is. I hope I wasn't off the camera too much when I was drawing that. I have a feeling I was off quite a bit.
No, you were on there pretty solidly.
Okay.
People definitely were commenting that they loved it and all that too, and I agree. It's an amazing piece.
Thank you very much, Allison. This was a lot of fun.
I'm just gonna back out of solo mode briefly. Get us back up here. And I want to thank you both for coming and sharing my birthday with me, and to everybody else here who came and hung out. I mean, I know it's mostly for Dave, but I'm happy you guys came too. So,
yeah, it was great to be able to do this again and catch up with you. It's been a few months since we've really talked.
Yeah, we haven't really talked since Rhode Island Comic Con. So yeah, I mean, we've had a few conversations here and there, but mostly Rhode Island Comic Con.
Yep. So yeah, it was great to be able to do this again. And this is a fun character and a different kind of a picture than I normally would do on a live stream. I have a tendency on live stream pictures to take very few risks because I need to make sure that the picture is just going to get finished and work with 2 hours. So this one had the real potential to end up taking a lot longer if things fell apart. So I'm glad it kind of worked.
Oh, it's amazing. It's utterly amazing. I'm super happy. Thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate it. And Eric, I loved having you here, even though I know you're like dead tired.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, thanks for having me as well. And happy birthday. Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Yeah, I got 12 minutes left.
That's right. Yeah, that's a lot
make
of
it a good 12 minutes. Yeah.
And thank you, all of you guys that came and spent some time with us. And thanks for your questions and comments. And it was a good time.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do our outro stuff. If you guys could just hang out with me for like 2 minutes when all this stuff is over with, and then I'll let you go. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna do the outro stuff, and I'll see you on the flip side of things.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Night. Bye. Thank you again for everybody for coming. Like, subscribe, comment in the doobly-doo stuff, and have a great one. Till next week, hopefully.